All right, hello everyone. Oh, this is a very sleepy duck, and I dressed him in an appropriate shirt for this, pajamas. It says, "Smile, everyone, please." We need some more. We need some more happiness in the world. Fill 2021 with some happiness. You ready? Okay. Professor Duck is ready. So, this is Duck. He says hi. I'm Goose. And this is Bedtime Stories with Duck and Goose. Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. Let's try that again. Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. This is a copyright 1939. Mike Mulligan had a steam shovel, a beautiful red steam shovel. Her name was Mary Ann. Mike Mulligan was very proud of Mary Ann. He always said that she could dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. But he had never been quite sure if that was true. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had been digging together for years and years. Mike Mulligan took such good care of Mary Ann, she never grew old. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and some others, who dug the great canals for the big boats to sail through. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and some others, who cut through the high mountains so that trains could go through. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and some others, who lowered the hills and straightened the curves to make the long highways for automobiles. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and some others, who smoothed out the ground and filled in the holes to make landing fields for the airplanes. And it was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and some others, who dug the deep holes for the cellars of the tall skyscrapers in the big cities. When people used to stop and watch them, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann used to dig a little faster and a little better. The more people stopped, the faster and better they dug. Some days, they would keep as many as 37 trucks busy, taking away the dirt they had dug. Then, along came the new gasoline shovels, the new electric shovels, and the new diesel motor shovels, and took all the jobs away from the steam shovels. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann were very sad. All the other steam shovels were being sold for junk, or left out in old gravel pits to rust and fall apart. But Mike loved Mary Ann. He couldn't do that to her. He had taken such good care of her that she could still dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. At least, he thought she could, but he wasn't quite sure. Everywhere they went, the new gas shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel motor shovels had all the jobs. No one wanted Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann anymore. Then, one day, Mike read in the newspaper that the town of Popperville was going to build a new town hall. We are going to dig the cellar of that town hall," said Mike to Mary Ann, and off they started. They left the canals and the railway. They left the canals and the railroads and the highways and the airports and the big cities where no one wanted them anymore, and went away out to the country. They crawled along slowly up the hills and down the hills till they came to the little town of Popperville. When they got there, they found that the selectmen were just deciding who should dig the cellar for the new town hall. Mike Mulligan spoke to Henry B. Swap, one of the selectmen. "I heard," he said, "that you are going to build a new town hall. Mary Ann and I will dig the cellar for you in just one day." "What?" said Henry B. Swap. "Dig a cellar in a day? It would take 100 men at least a week to dig the cellar for our new town hall." "Sure," said Mike, "but Mary Ann can dig as much in a day as 100 men can dig in a week." Then he added, "If we can't do it." Oh, wait. Though he had never been quite sure if that was true. Then he added, "If we can't do it, you won't have to pay." Henry B. Swap thought that this would be an easy way to get part of the cellar dug for nothing. So he smiled in a rather mean way and gave the job of digging the cellar of the new town hall to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. They started in early the next morning, just as the sun was coming up. Soon, a little boy came along. "Do you think you will finish by sundown?" he asked Mike Mulligan. "Sure," said Mike, "if you stay and watch us. We always work faster and better when someone is watching us." So the little boy stayed to watch. Then Mrs. McGillicuddy, Henry B. Swap, and the town constable came over to see what was happening, and they stayed to watch. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug a little faster and a little better. This gave the little boy a good idea. He ran off and told the postman in the morning with the morning mail, the telegraph boy on his bicycle, the milkman with his cart and horse, the doctor on his way home, and the farmer and his family coming into town for the day. They all stopped and stayed to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig a little faster and a little better. They finished the first corner neat and square, but the sun was getting higher. Clang, clang, clang! The fire department arrived. They had seen the smoke and thought there was a fire. Then the little boy said, "Why don't you stay and watch?" So the fire department of Popperville stayed to watch Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. When they heard the fire engine, the children in the school across the street couldn't keep their eyes on their lessons. The teacher called a long recess, and the whole school came out to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig still faster and still better. They finished the second quarter neat and square, but the sun was right up at the top of the sky. Now, the girl who answers the telephone called up the next towns of Bangerville and Bopperville and Kipperville and Copperville and told them what was happening in Popperville. All the people came over to see if Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel could dig the cellar in just one day. The more people came, the faster Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug. But they would have to hurry. They were only halfway through, and the sun was beginning to go down. They finished the third corner, neat and square. Never had Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had so many people to watch them. Never had they dug so fast and so well, and never had the sun seemed to go down so fast. "Hurry, Mike Mulligan, hurry, hurry," shouted the little boy. "There's not much more time." Dirt was flying everywhere, and the smoke and the steam were so thick that the people could hardly see anything. But listen. Bing, bang, crash, slam, louder and louder, faster and faster. Then, suddenly, it was quiet. Slowly, the dirt settled down, the smoke and the steam cleared away, and there was the cellar, all finished. 4 corners, neat and square. 4 walls, straight down. And Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann at the bottom. And the sun was just going down behind the hill. "Hooray!" shouted the people. "Hooray for Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel!" They have dug the cellar in just one day. Suddenly, the little boy said, "How are they going to get out?" "That's right," said Mrs. McGillicuddy to Henry B. Swap. "How is he going to get his steam shovel out?" Henry B. Swap didn't answer, but he smiled in a rather mean way. Then everybody said, "How are you going to get out?" "Hi, Mike Mulligan. How are you going to get your steam shovel out?" Mike Mulligan looked around at the 4 square walls and the 4 square corners and said, "We've dug so fast and we've dug so well that we've quite forgotten to leave a way out." Nothing like this had ever happened to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann before, and they didn't know what to do. Nothing like this had ever happened before in Popperville. Everybody started talking at once, and everybody had a different idea, and everybody thought their idea was the best. They talked, and they argued, and they fought till they were worn out, and still no one knew how to get Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann out of the cellar they had dug. Then Henry B. Swap said, "The job isn't finished because Mary Ann isn't out of the cellar, so Mike Mulligan won't get paid." And he smiled again in a rather mean way. Now, the little boy, who'd been keeping very quiet, had another good idea. He said, "Why couldn't we leave Mary Ann in the cellar and build the new town hall above her? Let her be the furnace for the new town hall, and let Mike Mulligan be the janitor. Then you wouldn't have to buy a new furnace, and we could pay Mike Mulligan for digging the cellar in just one day." "Why not?" said Henry B. Swap, and smiled in a way that was not quite so mean. "Why not?" said Mrs. McGillicuddy. "Why not?" said the town constable. "Why not?" said all of the other people. So they found a ladder and climbed down into the cellar to ask Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. "Why not?" said Mike Mulligan, and so it was decided, and everyone was happy. They built the new town hall right over Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. It was finished before winter. Every day, the little boy goes over to see Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and Mrs. McGillicuddy takes him nice hot apple pies. As for Henry B. Swap, he spends most of his time in the cellar of the new town hall, listening to the stories that Mike Mulligan has to tell, and smiling in a way that isn't mean at all. Now, when you go to Popperville, be sure to go down in the cellar of that new town hall. There they'll be, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, Mike in his rocking chair, smoking his pipe, and Mary Ann beside him, warming up the meetings in the new town hall. The end. If sharks disappeared. This is a healthy ocean. It's a balanced environment where many different animals and plants thrive. The ocean is home to a lot of creatures. Big, small, slimy, cute, and scary. Sharks have helped keep our oceans balanced for about 450 million years. Over that time, they evolved to get into more than 400 different species that exist today. I don't feel like I'm shouting. Sharks are apex predators, which means they are at the top of the food chain in their ecosystem, the ocean. Losing an apex predator species can cause devastating effects to the environment. Today, roughly between 1/4 and 1/3 of shark species are vulnerable to extinction because of overfishing. What could happen if this continues and the sharks disappear altogether? If sharks disappeared, the oceans would no longer be balanced. Although different species have different diets, most sharks typically eat sick, slow, or weak prey, leaving the healthy animals to reproduce. If sharks disappeared, the population of seals, sea lions, and other pinnipeds would potentially explode. Oh no. At higher populations, they would eat more and more fish, and eventually, once there weren't any fish left, they would starve and die out as well. And if the fish and the pinnipeds disappeared, plankton, which is what many fish that are lower on the food chain eat, could quickly grow out of control. That could make the ocean a thick sludge. Nothing could survive in this water. If the ocean became unlivable, many species of land animals that rely on the ocean for food, such as seabirds and polar bears, could also starve and die out. And the loss of those animals could cause still more species to be affected. This pattern of cause and effect, called a trophical cascade, could spread like a wave across countries and continents until animals around the globe were affected, from bees to birds to bears, and eventually to us. Oh no. All species depend on one another to survive by keeping our planet's ecosystem in balance. And luckily, today, sharks still exist. Sharks inhabit all the oceans of Earth. If we remember that we're all connected and if we work together, sharks and our whole planet will thrive. And maybe we'll see that what once seemed so scary isn't so scary after all. The end. Chicka chicka boom boom. Oop. Let's go from the beginning. Chicka chicka boom boom. I read this so much when I was younger, I basically had it memorized. A told B and B told C, "I'll meet you at the top of the coconut tree." "We," said D to E, F, G, "I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree." Chicka chicka boom boom, will there be enough room? Here comes H up the coconut tree. And I and J, and tag along K, all on their way up the coconut tree. Chicka chicka boom boom, will there be enough room? Look who's coming! LMNOP! And QRS! And TUV! Still more W! And X, Y, and Z! The whole alphabet up the... Oh no! Chicka chicka boom boom! Skit scat scoodle doot, flip flop flee. Everybody running to the coconut tree. Mamas and papas and uncles and aunts hug their little dears, then dust their pants. Help us up, cry ABC. Next from the pileup, skinned knee D, and stubbed toe E, and patched up F. Then comes G, all out of breath. H is tangled up with I. J and K are about to cry. L is knotted like a tie. M is looped. N is stooped. O is twisted. Alley-oop. Skit scat scoodle doot, flip flop flee. Look who's coming! It's Black Eyed Pea! Q, R, S, and Loose Tooth T. Whoop. Yeah. Then UVW and wiggly jiggly free. Last to come, X, Y, and Z. And then the sun goes down on the coconut tree. But, chicka chicka boom boom, look, there's a full moon. A is out of bed, and this is what he said. Dare, double dare, you can't catch me. I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree. Chicka chicka boom boom. The end. Each day the sun sets. Each evening a dark night rises. Shadows deepen. Stars cover the sky. Suddenly, the hero gets a signal. He must get ready. Prepare the Batmobile. Alfred. A great adventure awaits. Moments later, zoom. The hero speeds through the shadows. Then, it's time to take care of business. The hero cleans up the daily crime and brushes aside his fears. Your dirty deeds are over. He must lock away whatever he can and throw away the key. For there are those who depend on him. Thank you. Swoosh. And those he can count on. It's up to you, old pals. The hero watches over them all. Look, up there! It's Batman! He is finally ready for the long night ahead. Good night, Dark Knight. Good night, Batman. Holy cow, fractions are fun. Let's start from the beginning. Look, where are you? One whole cow was calmly eating hay and decided to act differently on this particular day. One whole cow, what should she do? Moo while her friends paint one half blue. What fraction of the cow is blue? What fraction of the cow is white? One half is blue and one half is white. One whole cow, patriotic through and through, wore a swimsuit that was red, white, and blue. What fraction of the swimsuit is red? What fraction of the swimsuit is white? What fraction of the swimsuit is blue? It is 1/3, I think. One whole cow was eating ice cream, 2 scoops of chocolate, and 1/3 of mint dream. Oh, what fraction of the ice cream is chocolate? It's 2/3. What fraction of the ice cream is mint dream? That's 1/3. One whole cow balanced on a peg got a little clumsy and hurt one leg. What fraction of the legs is not hurt? It's 3/4 or 3/4. Yeah. What fraction of the legs is hurt? That is 1/4 or 1/4. One leg out of 4. One whole cow took a bath in a sink and noticed 2 hooves were purple and the other 2 were pink. What fraction of the hooves is purple? And what fraction of the hooves is pink? That's 2/4 or 1/2. 2 out of her 4 hooves were purple, and the other 2 were pink. One whole cow sat down to play the cello while eating a daisy that was orange and bright yellow. What fraction of the daisy's petals is yellow? The 2 petals out of 5 are yellow, which means that 3 out of 5 petals is orange. One whole cow had a fish named Fred, who painted 6 spots on the cow's back red. What fraction of the spots is red? There's 8 spots, and 6 are red, so 6/8, or 3/4. One whole cow who danced with such grace entered a contest and won first place. What fraction of the ribbons is blue? 1 ribbon out of 3 is blue, so 1/3. One whole cow and her best friend Kate caught butterflies with nets while wearing roller skates. That sounds dangerous. What fraction of the cow's butterflies is blue? 2 out of 4 butterflies that the cow has are blue. One whole cow was calmly eating hay, which is what a cow should do on any given day. The end. And here are the answers. The dinosaur that pooped a planet. Danny and Dinosaur liked to have fun. Some days they had lots. Some days they had none. One day they were bored. They had no games to play. Danny said, "Dinosaur, what shall we do today? We could mow the lawn. We could clean up the place. We could do our chores. Or we could go to space. But you mustn't forget to have lunch," Mummy said. "You cannot have fun unless you've been fed." So they packed a lunch for the Science Museum, where rockets are kept, if you want to see them. There were hundreds of rockets and spaceship surprises, tall ones and small ones of all shapes and sizes. And one that was ready to launch, with a door that was big enough for a boy and his pet dinosaur. That's a big rocket. They ignored all the warnings. They couldn't care less. They pressed all the things that they shouldn't have pressed. T-5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition! They started their intergalactic space mission. They flew higher than houses and buildings and cranes. Much higher than birds. Even higher than planes. "We're in space," Danny yelled as they floated around. But the dinosaur's tummy had made a rumbling sound. Danny looked at his watch. Is it time for a snack? Then he looked all around for the dino's lunch pack. Danny started to panic, then started to worry. Their lunch was back home because they'd left in a hurry. So, with no food, not even a cheeseburger bun, a disastrous dinosaur feast had begun. Here we go. It gobbled up gadgets and gizmos galore. Nothing was safe from the space dinosaur. Robots and ray guns and blinking red blinkers. Eating things thought up by NASA's great thinkers. It chewed and it chomped on the spaceship controls. The rocket was dotted with dino tooth holes. The spaceship was empty. Inside, it was bare. Outside, there was space stuff to eat everywhere. It broke down the door with a cool ninja chop. Out in space, dinosaurs are much harder to stop. It chomped on the moon like a big chunk of cheese, then shoved even more in its mouth with a squeeze. It munched on the Martians from Mars and their cats. Their cats are like ours, but their cats wear cool hats. Satellites, Saturn, and 6 supernovas. Space-shifting saucers, and 7 space rovers. It guzzled 5 gallons of fuel from the tank. And Danny's jaw dropped as he watched what it drank. With a crunch and a crack and a num 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 num. In one dino gulp, the rocket was gone. This is a big dinosaur. Now nothing was left. All Danny could see was a fat dinosaur where the rocket should be. And so they were stranded with no way back home. Just Danny and Dino in space, all alone. Now, Danny was crying. He cried and he cried. He cried and his tears filled up his spacesuit inside. Unless they were going to stay there forever, the dinosaur needed to do something clever. With the feeling of guilt deep down in its gut, its brain brewed up a plan involving its butt. It knew there was only one thing it could do. To get them back home, it needed to poo. Ew. Like a poo-powered rocket, the dinosaur flew. So Danny held on tight. It was all he could do. It pooped out the robots and the ray guns and blinkers. The things NASA's thinkers thought up were now stinkers. It pooped out the moon. It pooped out the stars. It pooped out the space rovers and the Martians from Mars. Danny looked back. He could see a poop trail from far out in space to the dinosaur's tail. They headed for Earth and they started to orbit. It pooped on the clouds, but the clouds just absorbed it. They flew past the buildings and streets of their town, leaving the houses all smelly and brown. It finally landed back down on the ground. Hooray, Danny cried. We are home, safe and sound. Then Dino looked up to the moon, way up high, where a new poopy planet had formed in the sky. And so Danny agreed with what Mommy said. That fun is not fun unless you've been fed. And just when you thought all the pooping was done, a Mars cat plopped out of the dinosaur's bum. The end. Harry the dirty dog. Harry was a white dog with black spots who liked everything except getting a bath. So one day, when he heard the water running in the tub, he took the scrub brush and buried it in the backyard. Then he ran away from home. He played where they were fixing the street and got very dirty. He played at the railroad and got even dirtier. He played tag with other dogs and became dirtier still. He slid down a coal chute and got the dirtiest of all. In fact, he changed from a white dog with black spots to a black dog with white spots. Although there were many other things to do, Harry began to wonder if his family thought that he had really run away. He felt tired and hungry too. So, without stopping on the way, he ran back home. When Harry got to his house, he crawled through the fence and sat looking at the back door. One of the family looked out and said, "There's a strange dog in the backyard. By the way, has anyone seen Harry?" When Harry heard this, he tried very hard to show them that he was Harry. He started to do all his old clever tricks. He flip-flopped, and he flop-flipped. And he rolled over and played dead. He danced and he sang. He did these tricks over and over again, but everyone shook their heads and said, "Oh no, it couldn't be Harry." Harry gave up and walked slowly toward the gate. Suddenly, he stopped. He ran to a corner of the garden and started to dig furiously. Soon, he jumped away from the hole, barking short, happy barks. He'd found the scrub brush, and carrying it in his mouth, he ran into the house. Up the stairs he dashed, with the family following close behind. He jumped into the bathtub and sat up begging, with the scrubbing brush in his mouth, a trick he had certainly never done before. "This little doggy wants a bath," cried the little girl, and her father said, "Why don't you and your brother give him one?" Harry's bath was the soapiest one he'd ever had. It worked like magic. As soon as the children started to scrub, they began shouting, "Mummy! Daddy! Look! Look! Come quickly!" "It's Harry! It's Harry! It's Harry!" they cried. Harry wagged his tail. He was very, very happy. His family combed and brushed him lovingly, and he became once again a white dog with black spots. It was wonderful to be home. After dinner, Harry fell asleep in his favorite place, happily dreaming of how much fun it had been getting dirty. He slept so soundly, he didn't even feel the scrub brush he'd hidden under his pillow. The end. Zero the Hero. Zero the Hero, a book about nothing. Unlike most numbers, Zero believed himself to be a hero. He just needed a chance to prove it. Hey, who's that in the mask? And what's with those pointy boots? And this cape? From now on, call me Zero the Hero. Call you what? Now I've heard everything. But Zero's belief in himself didn't count for much when it came to fitting in. I see what you did there, book. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little. Poor Zero, he's always getting left out of the games. Well, tough noogies, he's not a counting number, so he can't play. True, you really can't count a zero. You really can't count a zero number of anything. Get a move on, will you, number 6? I can't go until you do. I can humbly wait until I get to sing 8. Oh, I can hardly wait until I get to sing 8 little. In order to amount to anything, Zero had to stand in the shadows of others, more glamorous than he was. Yes, it's true. I'm number one, the number everyone wants to be. I take first place in every contest. I'm the number line leader. Oh, and when my pal Zero tags along, I become a 10. That's equal to 10 ones, of course, not 10 zeros. 1 is greater than 0. Occasionally, he was mistaken for various circular objects, seemingly at random. Some days, it really got to him. Hey, aren't you a Fruit Loop? I love those. No, I'm Zero the hero. Yeah, I don't think so. Are you a donut? No. I've got it. You're the letter O. No, how many times do I have to tell you? 6? Ugh. 0 does not equal a donut. When it came to addition, he was virtually invisible. The other numbers seemed to pass right through him, almost like magic. 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. Still the 1. 2 plus 0 is equal to 2. 3 plus 0 is equal to 3. Yes, first try. 0 plus 4 is equal to 4. No matter what order we go in, the results are the same. 0 plus any number is the same number. Okay, well, let me take a wild guess here. The sum of me and you is going to be me. That's pretty much a sure thing, am I right? Well, yeah. The same thing happened with subtraction. In their frustration, some numbers were unkind. How come I'm called a difference if I don't look any different? 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. 2 minus 0 is equal to 2. 3 minus 0 is equal to 3. 4 minus 0 is equal to 4. What good are you? Oh, wait. What are you good at? That's what it says. Hey, diddly squat. Any way I figure it, me take away nothing equals me, right? Am I right? Am I? Hope I have better luck on the next page. Turns out, 0 stunk even more at division. So badly, in fact, that the other numbers simply refused to be divided by him at all. Sorry, I can't be divided by nothing. What would be the point? Oh, come on. What if I let you be the divisor instead? Still, his belief in his wonderfulness persisted. Then, one day, during multiplication, it was discovered that any number times 0 equals, you guessed it, 0. I apologize 100% for what I'm about to do to you. It's nothing personal. 1 times 0 is equal to 0. Here I am, another product of 0 times anything. Fearing extinction, the others ran away from him. Who could blame them? Hey, where's everybody going? Run for your lives! Good thing I've got 9 of them. Don't go near the times table if 0's around, or you'll be toast. Burnt toast. As the others scurried away, 0 had a horrible realization. A real superhero wouldn't multiply his friends into nothingness. That's the kind of stuff only an evil villain would do. Could it be that he wasn't a hero at all? The thought gave 0 a hollow feeling inside. His confidence shaken, he tucked himself tight and rolled away, heading for infinity or oblivion, whichever came first. The counting numbers didn't even notice 0 was gone. That is, until they encountered unexpected story problems. As you can see, I've got these 5 apples, and I've got 2 bananas here, and I've got 3 oranges. I think we know how much fruit we have altogether. Yes, but without Zero, I won't be able to solve this problem. He needs to stand here to help me make 10. This place is reserved for Zero, because 5 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 10, not 1. To take their minds off their problems, they tried playing a game of round off, but this proved impossible without Zero. This is no fun. Yeah, without Zero around, we can't round down to 10. And we can't round up to 30. Go figure. Say, I've been wondering, is that a tutu you're wearing? We feel so odd without Zero around. He was such a sweet nothing. Okay, he wasn't totally worthless. The day I met him, I was one lucky 7. He made me feel like I was on cloud 9. No question, the counting numbers were missing their friend. I miss Zero twice as much as anyone else. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who did we not appreciate? I know I teased him, but it feels like there's a hole in my heart where that now that he's gone. We miss Zero even more. After all, he was one of us. This is the even club, and the top is the odd club. 0 is an even number. In fact, they were so busy missing him that they didn't even notice they were being surrounded. You know, I never told Zero. I'm often mistaken for the letter S. Some confuse me with the letter Z. As in Zero. If I stand too still, I can be mistaken for a pickle. If I take a nap, I'm mistaken for a lowercase m or a W, depending on which side I lie on. Snowman. Before they knew it, they'd been captured by Roman soldiers. In the name of the Emperor, we're taking you prisoner. Hey, aren't you the letter X? No, we are not letters. We are Roman numerals. We don't really like fighting. Instead, maybe you could teach us how to do math using ones, tens, and hundreds places? Roman numerals don't do math. We just count. Hey, aren't you the letter V? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 were tossed into the gladiator ring. Gladiator ring? No way! I know a clock when I see one. Despair, yes, but it's not really all that dark. Looks like our days are numbered. Almost time. Attack. Attack at 26. Yep. Swarm. I don't know what that says. The Roman soldiers were counting the minutes until they'd attack. It was a time of darkness and despair. And hot dogs. From far away, Zero heard his pals call for help. Help! That's upside down letters, or upside down numbers. Help! This is a job for Zero the hero, he thought. Faster than a speeding donut, Zero zoomed to the rescue. Look, up in the air. It's a flying bagel. Hey, my missing chariot wheel. A giant Cheerio, maybe? Release the numbers or else, Zero told the Romans. Or else what? The Romans replied. Or else I will unleash a force greater than you can imagine. The power of nothing. Go ahead. We're not afraid of nothing. Left with no choice, Zero grabbed a nearby rock and proceeded to demonstrate his amazing power. Well, here goes nothing. 0 times a rock is equal to 0. When the Roman numerals saw the rock disappear, they decided to disappear too. They ran as fast as they could. This guy says, run for your life, but 4 is the Roman numeral 4. That's probably only funny to me, but it's funny. Run for your life. He's going to do a number on us. Let's skedaddle. Yeah, before Zero unleashes his power on us. All hail Zero the hero, shouted the counting numbers. Thank you for saving us. My hero. Zero is great. You're wonderful. For he's a jolly good fellow. High five. 3 cheers. On second thought, that mask is pretty spiffy. And those boots are growing on me. Duck just burped. With his friends around him once more, and the knowledge that he had fought evil and won, Zero no longer felt empty inside. Now that hollow nothingness inside him was filled with something, and that something was joy. The end. Zilch, Zip, Nada, and Zero. The sum of my names adds up to hero. Thank you for coming. Good night. Sleep tight and have a great week.